At the 2025 WSL Finals at Cloudbreak, Fiji, Griffin Colapinto was 2 heats away from making California history. He had already beaten Italo Ferreira, then he took apart Jordy Smith. The surfing world watched a man who looked, in that moment, completely unstoppable. Then came Yago Dora, and just like that, it was over. California has not had a male world surfing champion since Tom Curren in 1991, 34 years, and the man most likely to change that just came up short again. So what is actually going on with Griffin Colapinto?
He'll really start to get into this priority rotation. Let's see, sort of second, perhaps it was the third wave of the set. So nice and smooth, as you alluded to, just jamming so hard off the bottom. Look how he leans into those bottom turns. That opening maneuver, again, that textbook tail drift backhand snap that he's been doing, he has that totally on lockdown now.
San Clemente, California, population around 65,000, sits between Los Angeles and San Diego on the Southern California coast. And if you spend even one day there, you understand immediately why it produces surfers. The water is consistent, the breaks are world-class, and the culture runs so deep that some families there have been shaping their whole lives around the ocean for generations. The Colapinto family is exactly one of those families. Mitch Colapinto, Griffin's father, became a lifeguard at San Clemente State Beach in 1985. He was an elementary school teacher during the week and a lifeguard on the water. In 1998, the same year Griffin was born, Mitch and his wife Camille opened Cola's surf camp at Pochi Beach. They taught kids to surf all summer. Their own boys grew up paddling out alongside their students. By the time Griffin was 2 years old, he was already standing on a surfboard, not being held. Standing. His father took him into a tandem session at nearby San Onofre State Beach, and something clicked in that kid that never switched off. By age 8, Griffin Colapinto had one clear goal in his life. He wanted to be a professional surfer. Every single day he was in the water. The ocean was not a hobby, it was the plan. He quit traditional school at 15. Not because he was struggling, because he was serious. Homeschooled so he could train full-time and chase swells, and dedicate himself completely to becoming what he already knew he was going to be. And Lower Trestles was his classroom. Lower Trestles is one of the most perfectly shaped waves in the world. It sits right there below San Clemente, a consistent right-hand point break that rewards precision and power and creativity. The best surfers in the world surf there regularly. Griffin grew up surfing it alongside them, not watching them, surfing next to them, studying them, absorbing everything. By 13, Griffin was competing in the NSSA, the National Scholastic Surfing Association. He did not ease his way in. He went straight at it. By 2015, when he was 17, he won the Junior Men's US Open of Surfing. Then came the moment that changed everything. In 2016, the Hawaii Pro, part of the qualifying series, Griffin was a young kid trying to make his mark. The heat was close. He needed something. In the final moments, he launched an air reverse that was so crisp and so committed and so perfectly executed that the clip went viral. Not surfing viral, actually viral. People who had never heard of Griffin Colapinto suddenly knew his name because of what he did in that wave. The surf world started paying very close attention. Then 2017 arrived, and Griffin Colapinto did something no Californian had ever done. He won the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing in Hawaii at 19 years old. The Triple Crown covers 3 separate events across the North Shore. It requires consistency, power, and an ability to handle Hawaiian surf. The men who typically win it have years of experience reading those waves. Griffin Colapinto did it at 19 on his first serious attempt. He did not just win it, he topped the entire WSL qualifying series rankings that year, meaning he had earned his full spot on the championship tour for 2018. Earned it outright. No wildcards, no favors, just results. His coach at the time, a former tour star named Jake Patterson, gave Griffin a nickname that stuck. He called him the Sponge, because whatever you showed Griffin Colapinto, however you explained something, he absorbed it immediately and put it into practice. He did not need repetition, he needed one demonstration. That quality in an athlete is extremely rare, and the people around him recognized it early. His first championship tour event was the Quicksilver Pro Gold Coast in Australia, 2018. He walked in as the rookie everyone was watching. He walked out in third place. Third in his debut. He also scored a perfect 10-point ride. That is the maximum score in professional surfing. You can go an entire career without posting one. Griffin Colapinto scored a perfect 10 in his first CT event. But then the tour does what the tour always does to talented rookies. It shows them what they do not know yet. 2018 ended with Griffin finishing 18th overall. 2019, he finished 16th. Not bad numbers. Not terrible numbers, but not the numbers people had expected from someone who had arrived the way he arrived. The championship tour is not just about surfing ability. It is about consistency across wildly different waves, different countries, different conditions. Pumping beach breaks in Brazil, heavy slabs in Tahiti, cold reefs in Portugal, groomed point breaks in South Africa. You need to perform in all of them, and that level of versatility takes time to build, regardless of how talented you are. He spent 2020 and 2021 building it. By the end of 2021, Griffin Colapinto cracked the top 10 for the first time. He finished 6th. He also won the US Open of Surfing on the Challenger Series that same year. The trajectory was clear. The question was not whether Griffin Colapinto was going to become a legitimate world title contender. The question was when. The answer was sooner than most people predicted. October 2022, Mio Rip Curl Pro Portugal, Super Tubos, one of the heaviest, most brutal beach breaks on the entire tour. The wave explodes out of deep water onto a shallow sandbar, and it does not give you time to think. You have to already know what to do before you take off. Griffin Colapinto arrived needing a strong result. He got something much more than that. He tore through the entire draw, heat after heat after heat. And in the final, he faced Kelly Slater, the greatest surfer of all time. 11 world titles, still dangerous, still capable of winning on any given day. Griffin Colapinto put up a perfect 10 in the final against Kelly Slater and won the event. It was the first CT event win for a Californian male surfer since 2009, 13 years, and it came against the greatest of all time. In the surf media, the reaction was less surprise than confirmation. This was always coming. The only question had been the timing. Now it had happened, and Griffin Colapinto was no longer just a promising talent. He was a CT winner. He was legitimate. He won again that same season at the Surf City El Salvador Pro, finished the year in 7th place overall, and then 2024 arrived and he did something even more remarkable. He won in Portugal again. He won the Corona Fiji Pro at Cloudbreak. He was runner-up at Bells Beach. 3 podium finishes in the first half of the season. By mid-year, Griffin Colapinto was sitting at the top of the rankings, and the surf world was collectively thinking the same thought. Is this finally the year? The WSL Final 5 came together at the end of 2024. Griffin had qualified. He made the semifinals. He finished 3rd overall. Close, but not close enough. Then came 2025, and the story took a turn nobody expected. 5 events in a row, Griffin Colapinto failed to reach the round of 16. 5 consecutive events where he exited earlier than he should have. The surf media started raising questions. Was he struggling mentally? Was his form dropping? Was the pressure of being California's great world title hope actually getting to him? He was sitting dangerously close to the mid-year cut, the cut that removes the bottom-ranked surfers from the tour entirely. Griffin Colapinto, the man many believed would be California's next world champion, was watching that line get closer. Then something shifted. He started making heats, then winning heats, then stringing results together. By the end of the regular season, he had done something statistically wild. He had gone from mid-year cut speculation to the Final 5, from the danger zone to the title race, in a single season. And at the 2025 finals at Cloudbreak, he surfed the best backhand surfing of anyone in the field. The editor-in-chief of Surfer magazine, Jake Howard, who watched every heat from the channel, said Griffin's backhand was the talk of the finals, that the deep bottom turns into beyond vertical snaps were on a different level from everyone else until the final match. He beat Italo Ferreira. He beat Jordy Smith, 2 of the best surfers on the planet, in the biggest single-day event of the year. Then came Yago Dora. Yago won the title that day, and Griffin Colapinto sat with a second-place finish and a question that had no clean answer. How does a surfer who was cut-line close in July end up being the second-best surfer in the world by September? Because that is what Griffin Colapinto does. He does not fade when the stakes are highest. He rises. And he rose all the way to within 1 heat of making California history for the first time since 1991. And then he came up just short. Again. Here is what Griffin Colapinto said heading into 2026. He said his goal was to win 5 events. Not compete in 5 events. Win 5. You know who else won 5 events in a single season? Andy Irons, in 2003, on his way to his 2nd world title. The format has also changed. The WSL scrapped the finals day structure in 2026 and went back to a cumulative point system across the full season, which means the world title gets decided by who performs the most consistently across all 12 events, with Pipeline at the end of the year as the final stop. That format suits Griffin Colapinto. He has proven he can surge through a season. He has proven he can peak when the pressure is the highest. And now, instead of a winner-take-all single day, the title will go to the surfer who builds the best body of work. He talked about trust when the season was approaching. Not about technique, not about boards or training, about trust. Understanding wins and losses at a deeper level than before. Knowing that one bad event does not collapse everything. That the marathon has enough road in it to recover. He is also 27 years old, which in surfing terms is not old. It is prime. Kelly Slater was still competitive in his 40s. The physical peak for professional surfers is generally somewhere in the late 20s to early 30s. Griffin Colapinto is entering that window right now. His brother Crosby is also on tour. They surf together constantly. They run a YouTube channel called Cola Bros, where you can watch them surf and travel, and give you a window into the life they have built around the ocean that their grandfather helped their family fall in love with back in 1971. The Colapinto family came to surfing by accident. A 10-foot Hobie board in Malibu in 1971. 3 brothers who started riding waves on a dare and never stopped. A surf camp opened the year their son was born. And now that son is 2 heats away from changing California surfing history and talking like a man who knows exactly how to close the gap. California has been waiting since Tom Curren last hoisted the trophy in 1991. 34 years of near misses and could-have-beens and almost theirs. Griffin Colapinto is not a young prospect anymore. He is a 2-time event winner, an Olympian, a man who finished 2025 as the second-best surfer on the planet. The question the title of this video asks is, what happened to Griffin Colapinto's world title? The honest answer is that it has not happened yet. But the more you look at his career, the more you look at the trajectory and the mindset and the format change and the age he is at right now, the more the question starts to feel less like a post-mortem and more like a countdown. Because Griff is not declining, he is refining, and the ocean has a long memory. If you want to see where this goes in 2026, hit subscribe. Every week we cover the stories the surf world is talking about, told the way they actually deserve to be told.